Well, I'm about to make some enemies. Star Wars The Last Jedi can best be described as this. A very beautiful movie with some really, really good scenes, poorly connected. And a lot of it comes down to the script. Yeah. So, if I was to grade this thing by just movie standards, no Star Wars, nothing at all, I would say that it was an average movie. Beautiful average movie, but an average movie nonetheless. But when you think about Star Wars, the epic, the thing that has lasted 40 plus years, you expect more out of it. You expect it to actually be better than what it was. Now, some of my issues with this movie are not the ones that other people have. Some people are really upset by the reveal of Rey's parents. I actually like it. It actually means a lot more than what most people are looking for, but that's neither here nor there. And a lot of the decisions the movie decides to make in terms of its plot is actually different than what we were expecting, unless you were watching the movie, at which point you were able to predict what was going to happen. Because whereas Darth Vader's reveal in Empire Strikes Back was actually, shocking. You didn't have, him looking at an old baby picture, or him talking about, man, I miss my family, or Luke really contemplating, who's my dad, who's my dad, who's my dad. So, yeah, in this movie, they foreshadow everything to death. One done actually pretty well. I didn't think they actually would follow through with it. But it's still, you gotta be subtle. And this movie, I really don't think knows how to be subtle. They want to get a point across, which you can get across many points in many different ways. Sometimes being the more subtle approach, where it's just the simple twinge of a character's face, them maybe gripping their leg or something, or them just staring off into the distance in a contemplative look. This movie doesn't really do that. They ham-fist this stuff in. Empire bad. War bad. We're all just cogs in a machine. Oh no, bad. War is bad. Did I mention war is bad? War bad. And people are bad on both sides. Shocker. You don't need to be that blunt with it. And if you think I was being subtle with that at all, no. The movie does that times 10, especially with one of the plots running along. So, whereas The Force Awakens, for the most part, and Rogue One were very centralized in what they were talking about and who the attention was on, this one has it spread across over basically 4 areas. And in a 2.5-hour movie, a 2.5-hour long movie, you would expect that to be enough. You could split them up equally or adjust them accordingly based on importance or relevance, and some even tie together. This one doesn't. It seems very contrived in how they're trying to give everyone their own story arc and everyone their own piece to do in the movie. But it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel natural. And some of the stuff that comes out of it just seems very wrong. Or just, why did you do it? You could have cut this entire section out of the movie, and you would have still ended up in the exact same place, with the exact same outcome. The only difference is, more people would be alive. But that doesn't matter, because at the end, they don't want that many people alive. It's really tough to dance around this movie without getting into the spoilers, and if I was to do a spoiler review on this, we'd be here for about an hour. So, I'm trying to dance around the stuff. But enough with the negative, let me get to some actual good positives. First off, Kylo Ren, much better than what he was in the last movie. Last movie, you could, basically feel the whiny, emo daddy issues. And he kinda has it a little bit in the beginning, but he grows out of it and basically becomes his own man, and truly becomes, well, better than Vader. No, I'm not allergic to bull. I swear to you, I'm not allergic to bullshit. He actually is good. Though I think upon me saying that, someone way off in another Twitter forum is typing about me. How can you say he's better than Vader? Kylo Ren sucks. No, I'm not even joking about that. That's an actual review I read on Rotten Tomatoes, which the only person who actually gave a negative. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes has given this thing a certified fresh at 93%, while the audience rating is at 57%. So that should basically tell you where this movie resides. Beautifully shot, beautifully constructed, but with the plot not being as great as we're hoping for, it's still a serviceable movie. But for the audience, we were expecting more. And if we got stuff like Kylo Ren throughout the entire thing, you could have actually made it an interesting movie. Give me a Star Wars movie where the premise and everything is based solely on the Empire or one of the Sith Lords. It gives them a bit of more character depth and gives us something we haven't seen before. Or, honestly, Luke training Rey is done really well too. Luke Skywalker has basically become the grumpy old man who's like, I don't want to do this. I left for a reason. Why do people keep coming to me? I am not some legend. I just want to just lay back and die. But he does a lot better than that. And it's tough to, when he starts getting mad and starts yelling at Rey, it's tough not to hear the Joker from Batman just sneak in there a little bit. I just half expect him to say, look, I'm crazy enough to deal with Kylo Ren, Snoke, and the Empire, but I am not crazy enough to deal with the IRS. For the 5 people who got that reference from Batman the Animated Series, thank you. Oh, but he does a good job as the mentor. He actually grows as a character. Until a certain point, which... yeah. Like, the last act of this movie, after the throne scene and the tug-of-war scene, trust me, it'll make sense when you see it. It goes downhill. You could have, in all honesty, just cut out the last act of this. Well, I wouldn't even say act. I would probably say it was about 35, maybe 40 minutes. You could have cut that out of the movie and just changed the direction and where they're all heading, and you could have had a great setup for things to come and actually have built upon a good opening for episode 9. Well, granted, I think episode 9 is going to be a bit different. After Carrie Fisher has unfortunately passed away. And there is a nice little memoriam in the beginning of the trailer. Well, not trailer, the credits. So, it's nice. But there's no post-credit scene, so after you see the little memoriam, you can walk out. There's nothing there. So I want to say so many things, but I don't want to go into spoiler territory. I might do a spoiler review a bit later, but... as for right now, it's just a big letdown, guys. It really is. It's not bad. It's just not really good. It's kind of like when you go to a 5-star restaurant and you just get an average meal. You feel cheated. You feel cheated. You just feel wrong. And that's what this movie felt like. Because after you leave the theater, you're not thinking, you want to see the next one. Say what you will about Force Awakens. I was curious to see how they were all going to, play this out. All these theories. Who's Snoke? What do the rings represent? Is that a dark saber crystal? Maybe it could be the Knights of Ren. Oh, Kylo took some other guys? Oh, maybe they're going to form the Inquisition, the new version of it. Or, who's Rey's parents? Well, there's a lot of stuff that, and they actually do explain it in this movie. There's a lot of things it could be. And then, where's Luke? Is he going to train Rey? Is she going to become as strong as Kylo? And what about Finn and Poe and all these other characters? You feel like you want to see more of them. And the same with Rogue One, except, they all ended up... it was a good movie nonetheless. At the end of this movie, I'll be honest, I didn't care. Yeah, I was caring about one character until he was about to do... basically the Keaton sacrifice from Gurren Lagann, until somebody said, no! Why? Why did you stop him? You literally kind of doomed the rebellion there at the moment by stopping him from doing this, but... yeah. It's stuff like that just throws you off for a loop, and mainly the worst part of it is one story segment, I'm not going to say which one, and the third act that really just suck it out of you. And then there's the retcon of the Force, and oh god. Look, the way they took the Jedi Order and the way they were explaining it in this movie was okay. But the problem is, then you try to make the Force sound way more powerful than it is. I'm glad they don't touch on the midichlorian BS, but they just, like, suck it out of you, really. They just suck all the fun, the thrill, the duality of the Force out of you, the light and dark side. In fact, what I thought was going to happen with the whole, Last Jedi, and this isn't a spoiler because it didn't happen, I thought Rey would find the balance between the light and the dark and become what is referred to in the Star Wars universe as a Bendu. The Bendu are the neutral Force users who align neither with dark or light but walk down neutrality. They're just extremely Force sensitive and can do the same things that others can. And anybody from the Star Wars Rebels series would know who Bendu is. He's a representation of the Bendu. But that's extended universe stuff, which apparently no longer exists, though they're going to make another trilogy from what I've been told. So there's that. And in all honesty, I'm kind of interested in seeing it to see what a standalone trilogy not tied directly into the Star Wars epic could be. It could be a simple rebellion piece against a planet. It could be just a character coming to terms. It could be an intergalactic politics struggle within a little system. There's a lot you could do, theoretically, with this, and not have to make it the grandiose, massive Star Wars movies we're used to. And I think if we had more of those, which were more just contained set-piece style movies like Rogue One was, maybe when we come into a Star Wars movie and it's just, average, it wouldn't really sting as much. And I think that really boils down to the biggest thing with this movie, like I've been saying, is that it's just average or above average, like little above. Like a C or a C at around a 76 or something. You technically did average and a little better than that, but I was hoping for like a A up here, especially after Rogue One. It's not as bad as the prequels, like everyone's trying to make it out to be. It's not as bad as some of the fanboys are trying to scream. It's just, could have been so much better. It's kind of a downer note when you think about it. Anyway, guys, I might have one more review this week. I'm going to be heading out of town for a little bit, so I'm going to try to at least get something for you guys so you can have a nice little holiday special or something. I might track down a good Christmas movie or something and review that. Actually, I'll leave it to you guys. If you guys can think of a good Christmas movie, please, write down below. Tell me which one it is. And if any of you dare say Medea's Christmas, I am going to punch my camera. Off screen, of course, because I still need this thing to work. So, until next time, I'm Kevin Riley, signing off, and I'll see you all next time. Later.